Hey everyone, I've been going to make this video for quite a while. We had quite a summer. Our family went through a tragedy. Our grandson passed away. We knew he wasn't going to make it. My daughter was pregnant. She got an ultrasound and found out that there was no amniotic fluid surrounding the child in utero, and that he would not survive outside the womb. And then he was born at 32 weeks, and he lived for 2.5 hours, and we laid him to rest. And it was very, very difficult for everyone. And so I've been going to make a video about how to deal with grief, because we've been going through this, you know, especially the grief of losing a child. Very, very difficult. And then after seeing everything that's happened in Appalachia, I'm hoping that this video can be helpful to some people, because what they're dealing with is horrendous. So I jotted a few notes down, so if you see me looking at my notes, it's just to help me keep my thoughts on track, because this is a sensitive subject, and everyone deals with grief differently. I just want to share how we've handled it, and maybe it'll be helpful to you. So, you know, as a mom, you know, somebody says, how in the world do you get through this? Well, I'm going to share how we have gotten through it and are still going through it. So I think the first thing that I would say, and especially in trying to help my son-in-law and daughter, especially through this, as well as other family members, take it slow. There's no timeline for your feelings. There's no checkpoint for your feelings. You're going to feel what you're going to feel. I think we live in a culture that glorifies a rat race, busy, 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 go, go, go. And we don't take the time that is needed, I think, to grieve. I understand people have jobs. They can't just stop living and grieve. I get that, and that's a struggle. So what I have said to, you know, my family members in these situations is, don't choke it down, but take control of it as much as you can. It's an emotion, and, you gotta, you know, people need to figure out how to manage their emotions. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just trying to put this the best way, and I'm not real good at it sometimes, but, don't choke it down and pretend it isn't there. That's unhealthy. What I do personally is say, okay, grief, I kind of treat it as a visitor, because it's not permanent. I know you're here, and I know you're wanting my attention, but right now I have this to deal with. I will deal with you later, and then deal with it later when you can. So that's kind of how I do it. That way it's not owning me. And yes, it's overwhelming for a while, but there's going to come a time when I think you'll be able to do that, is say, I'm not going to pretend you're not here. I know you're knocking at the door or calling on the phone or whatever, but I can't deal with you right now. I have this to deal with, like work, taking care of the house, whatever. So I will deal with you later. I think it's important to understand the 5 stages of grief. I'm just going to list them briefly. If you want more detail, you can look them up. The first stage is denial. And we definitely went through that stage. You know, when you get a diagnosis, like, you know, the baby is not going to live outside the womb, the first thing you say is, well, you know, people have been told this before. People have been told, that their child isn't going to live, and their child lives. Doctors make mistakes. The ultrasound wasn't done correctly, whatever. And then, you know, you go for a follow-up and a second opinion, and they did. And sure enough, yes, the ultrasound technician did do the ultrasound correctly, and there was no amniotic fluid. So we went through that. Then there's anger. bargaining, depression, and acceptance. In our experience, these can happen kind of simultaneously. Again, there's no timeline for each stage. Sometimes they all, they can all hit at once. I don't know. But those are the stages. Look them up and get some more detail about them. When you hit the depression stage, if you're too low and can't function and can't even do the basics, like get up, get a shower, fix a cup of coffee, ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in asking for help. Call your doctor if you think you need some medication to help you get control of these emotions so that, or kind of take the edge off of them a little bit so that you can process the grief in a healthier way. Do it. There is no shame in that whatsoever. In my experience, grief has been like a really strong ocean wave, like you're in turbulent waters. It's just knocking you down, knocking you down. You feel like you're drowning. You can't even, you come up and you suck in some air and then whoosh, you're down again. In my experience, that turbulence over time, as you go through the stages of grief and get through it, that turbulence tends to smooth out a little bit. And eventually it just kind of gets to where, yeah, it kind of knocks you down a little bit, but it's not like you're fighting for your life at this point. Now it's just dealing with the day-to-day pain. The date, eventually you will be surprised by a moment of happiness. Again, no timeline for this, but somehow a little joy and a little happiness will sneak in and go, and you'll kind of say, oh, I didn't expect that. And then, the wave will come back and kind of toss you around a little bit, or, a lot, depending on who you are and what you're dealing with. But that's kind of the experience. The pain of losing someone never goes away, especially a child. We're gonna be living, we've got to figure out a way to live with the pain of the loss, is basically what it is, because it's not going anywhere. And that's what I think people who grieve, especially a child, I pray that you can get to that point, is instead of it tearing you apart, you figure out how to live with it. Another thing I'd like to share is that it's okay to not be okay. It really is. It's okay to ask for help. And I don't mean not just from medication or for counseling. Of course, get some counseling, get some therapy, get some medication if you need it. But for the people who are in your life who say, hey, if you need anything, just ask me. They mean it. They mean it. Most people are too polite to just barge in and do something like clean your house. They'll bring, I'm Southern, people bring food. And people will do that. But when they say ask, they mean it, because they don't know what to do. They don't know what your needs really are. They guess, but it's awkward for them. So when you ask someone, hey, can you come over, straighten up my house for me, do my dishes for me, I'm exhausted, I can't function today, for example, that is actually a relief to them and makes them feel good, because now, oh, I know what this person needs. I know what she needs. And they're happy to do it, because it relieves them of the awkwardness of guessing. And I think, last but not least, I'm coming at this as a Christian. We have faith that our grandson is in our future, not in our past, not just in our past. We will see him again. And we're grateful for that. We're grateful for the short time that we had with him. We're grateful that my daughter and her husband got to be a family, even if it was just for a few hours. So try to find the good in a situation. a silver lining somewhere. Or if there's no good that can be found, try to find something to be grateful for. That will really help with the healing and the processing of the grief, is finding things to be grateful for. Find ways to, as you get back on your feet, find ways to help other people. That helps a lot. My daughter found some ways to help other young mothers, and that did a lot to help towards helping her. It felt like she wasn't just losing. There was a little bit of a purpose in this. Pray for not just for yourself, but for others. The Lord has promised to comfort those who grieve, and he keeps his promises. And it's not always easy. It's not feel good. There is a lot of, I think through all of this, we saw so many things that were both awful and beautiful. It's a dichotomy that it's incredible. You get a gift, I think, that very, very few people get when you especially experience the loss of a child, in that you get a depth of understanding, I think, life and faith that you don't get any other way. And that's probably the best way I know to put it. And I'm not saying, not in any way saying losing a child is a good thing. It isn't. It sucks. It's not fair. You know, that's the biggest thing we're dealing with here I think it's not fair. It's not fair for anybody. Life isn't fair. It just isn't. And sometimes you get reminded of that like a 2x4 between the eyes. But you don't take the good in this life without the bad. I'm a huge J.R.R. Tolkien fan. I always hang on to what Samwise says. We have to remember that there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. Yeah, lean on your faith. Lean on the Lord. Because, you know, you feel like you're, my daughter mentioned that she felt like she was hiding from God, and it turned out she realized she was hiding in God. And the interesting thing about all of this, sometimes people blame God. I don't blame him. But then I kind of look at things like, this is a fallen world. Things are broken. And, the processes that were put into place at creation are broken. And that includes the process of reproduction. And I think this is just one of those instances where things broke. And my grandson didn't get amniotic fluid for whatever reason. We don't know. We don't know. The good thing is there's absolutely no reason that as they heal after they have, you know, gone through it and feel like they're ready, there's no reason for them not to be able to have children in the future that are alive and healthy and thriving. It's cruel. But I don't think God is cruel. I don't think God did this. Some Christians they think God did this, and, you know, with respect to their opinions, I'm not going to say they're wrong, because I certainly don't have all the answers. I just kind of think things are broken, and they won't be better until he comes back and makes them better. So that is, what I have to share about dealing with grief. I hope it helps. You know, thinking back to Appalachia, going back to things being broken, our weather, our climate, it's broken. So things happen. I hope that this is helpful. I'm not looking to stir a debate, whether you agree with me or not. I hope it helps. I realize people, you know, again, people deal with grief differently. They have different beliefs, and, you know, that's okay. That's okay. Well, I just wish you all well. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps.